Hello, everyone. You're welcome to day two of JTT24 Free Linux class. In our last class, we were able to set up our workstation, if not all, at least the basic ones we need to kickstart the bootcamp. Created AWS account, also created IAM users for our respective accounts, then signed in as IAM user, and we are going to be using that henceforth. We also went ahead and set up our SSH client, which is Temios. I told us that there are other SSH clients like Google Xterm, like PuTTY, like VS Code. However, we use Temios and VS Code more. Reason is that Temios is available for all operating systems. You can run it on macOS, Linux, Solaris, IBM, Windows, iOS, while other ones like PuTTY and Mopo Xterm only run on Windows operating system. We will use VS Code when we get into DevOps properly. Not really. We will start using it even from IAC, infrastructure as code, that is Terraform. Yeah, so for now, we just make do of our AWS account and Themius. So on your screen, you should be seeing course outline and curriculum. Let me break it down this way. Some of us are already convenient users of Windows operating system or Mac OS because you use it daily. You know where to create folders, you know how to create files, all kind of files. If you want to send multiple files via email, you know how to tie them or compress or zip them together on your computer so you can send them as a single file, right? And those that are a bit deeper into their respective PCs knows how to give permission to subfolders so that you can share it among different users on your PC. You know, growing up on our PC, the family computer at home, there's what we call shared folders, all right? And so those folders, whatever file you have inside those folders, anybody that signed into the computer can access those folders. Okay. So when you put on the family computer at home, we see where we have father, you see where we have mother, we see where we have others. The children are others. Okay, so when you get to the computer, you don't, even if you clicked on fathers, you don't have the password to it, or even you click on mothers. And the one on others does not have password, so we can be checked of what we are putting doing on the computer. But that way, we can access things that are within shared folders, right? So some of us knows how to do that deeply, but the rest of us just know how to get things, the basic things done on our computer. We want to send email, we want to watch videos, we want to play music, all of that. But what we are doing actually is that we are operating and or we are using an operating system, be it Windows or Mac OS. Okay. I think many persons did not really go to any computer school to start using computer, just the way we didn't go to any computer school to begin to use iOS or Android operating system. We just pick it up and we start using. And for that reason, we are limited as to what we know it can do. Okay. You will be shocked if you go to YouTube and ask YouTube of what the devices you are holding in your hands can do. But we do not care. Why? It is doing the basic things we needed to do for us. Okay. Now we care about Linux operating system because we will be required to do more than the basic things. Okay. We will be required on the job to do specific things. And on like Windows or Mac OS, that you can just look around and click here and click there and then expand that file or even drag this. Linux is predominantly an input-output interface machine. What I mean by that is it is a CLI OS, command line interface. Please get me right. It also have most Linux now comes with beautiful graphics. However, most people that uses them still heavily use them because it's a CLI interface and you're able to get things done with command quickly. Okay. I tell you, if you become addicted to Linux operating system in 3 months, when you get back to Windows, you do want to use it again. Because that idea of you click one Windows, another Windows open, then you expand a particular place to go and click something, another thing open, you're just tired. Especially for those who have experience with ADDS, Active Directory Domain Service, that's Windows servers. You will know that you click a lot of things, and on Linux, you just need to do that with a command as long as you know how to do proper navigations. Okay. So what we want to be teaching us in Linux is how to use a Linux PC. Okay. Not only how to use it, how to do some things, how to get some actions done that are relevant as a cloud administrator, as a Linux administrator, as SRE, as DevOps. Okay. And we'll be going to be doing that from the command line interface. So that's the summary of all that you are seeing in this place. Okay. I didn't want to go into literature so much so I don't get us bored. I'm going to send you this file through Mrs. Bucknor. Okay. But for the sake of those who would like to have the background, then let's quickly read together. Linux is an open source operating system. Open source means that it is free for everyone. Nobody lays patents a claim to it. All right. And what that means is if you get to know how to use Linux to an extent and you become an emeritus consultant, you can also pick the kernel of Linux, work on it, develop it, and call it your own name, just as Ubuntu called it theirs, Ubuntu. Debian calls their own Debian. Amazon Linux call its own Amazon Linux. Red Hat Enterprise Linux, RHEL, call their own. So is Fedora, right? But you can't do that with a Windows operating system, even if you have access to the kernel of Windows. Okay, you try to manipulate Windows operating system and you put it out there as you're under your own name, you'll be sued. The same thing you can't do with Mac OS because those are closed source. So now you know when we say something is open source and closed source, right? How it was originally conceived, I will allow you to read all of that. Okay, I'll just skip to the important things. A Linux system is divided into three main parts. The hardware, the one which you can see in front of you. So just take this Linux system, take it as Windows or Mac OS system, because there are computers that primarily run on Linux operating system. And it's on that premise that I prepared this manual. Okay. But you know that the Linux we want to use is a virtual one in cloud. Okay. But they work the same way, they do the same thing. Like I said, I'm still going to teach us. So if I'm unable to, I'll release a 30-minute video on how to use Oracle VirtualBox to create virtual machines on your computer. So what that means is if your computer is a MacBook, you can run a type 2 hypervisor, which is like Oracle VirtualBox. And on that, within that hypervisor, you can create a virtual computer, which we normally call VM, virtual machine, and it will run on any operating system you want it to run on. Okay, it always comes handy for developers and DevOps engineer. Why? Instead of carrying multiple laptops running different operating system, you can create it on your single physical laptop to test different case scenarios. All right. So if that's hardware, the Linux kernel, which is the central component of the OS that manages operations of computer and hardware, like what you see here. This is the kernel, these are the applications, and these are CPU, memory, and devices. So let me quickly explain this. Let's say this app here is a Zoom application. It is the kernel on your computer that tells your Zoom, this is the mic, this is the webcam, this is the mouse. Okay, so when this app needs to use the webcam, it sends message to the kernel. The kernel translates same to the device it needs to use. Okay, let's say this application is let's pick another popular app, Corel Draw. Okay, and then you have an electronic drawing pad attached to your PC. It is the kernel that tells the application, okay, this is the ePad, all right? And then user space. User space is where users like you and I directly interact with the system. And I told us in our last class, popularly there are two user interfaces, the GUI, graphics user interface, and this is, do you have a question? Is someone asking a question? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hi everyone,
We
can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Somebody probably just came in and didn't mute.
Oh, okay. I want to be sure that I'm not going without anybody following me. Thank you. All right. So I told us that we have the GUI, graphics user interface. That's the one you and I are seeing right now, where you see your mouse can work, where you can cut, where you can copy, where you see colorful things. And we also have the command line interface. Okay, Mr. Yo, please mute yourself. There is background noise coming from you. Or if it is Mrs. Ayo, kindly mute yourself. Or let me just do that for you. Thank you. All right. So that's a user space. Linux distribution. So you will hear folks within the IT community say Linux distro, Linux distro. It is distribution that is shortened as distro, and it basically means the different kinds of Linux. Okay. And from here, I tried to explain in our last class that you have more than 600, even more than 1,000 distros of Linux. Okay. But we will focus on the major ones. And I also said that if you have learned to use a particular Linux distro, then you have learned to use 95% of all the distros out there. Why? Because they are all using the same Linux kernel. Okay. What changes at times is when it comes to installation of packages or configuring some services, which we're going to expose us to. All right. And then I told us that these distributions of Linux are categorized based on their package managers. Package managers are likened to uh, cars and the countries they originate from. Okay, so we could be talking about German cars, Japanese cars, US cars, China cars. Okay, so that's same as package managers, right? All these distros you see here, the first four, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which is RHEL, Fedora, OpenSUSE, Amazon Linux, are using distros under RPM, Red Hat Package Manager. Why this Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint are distros of Linux under Debian Package Manager. Okay. And the installer here are what the keywords that you use whenever you need to do installations on this kind of Linux. This is Yum. And for Debian, either you use apt or apt-get. Okay. Either you use apt or apt-get when you want to install on the distros of Linux under Debian. As we move on in class, you're going to see some of these things as well. Okay. So that's it about a brief background knowledge of Linux. Then let's get into hands-on. So I'm also going to share with us another manual that talks about networking, just key things you need to know, especially for those who are outrightly new to computer uh, field, just to bring you up to speed about 2 pages, which is not difficult to use. So let's return to our interface and then let's start learning. Okay, so I terminated the server from our last class. Can we quickly launch a new one together? So let's call it GTT 24. GTT 24. I think I'm gonna call it server. Okay. Amazon Linux. I want to use Linux 2. I'm going to stick with T2 Micro because it's free tier eligible. And I'm going to use the existing security pair, sorry, key pair. I'm not going to change it. I'm also going to use existing security group, which is my in London region. Okay, London SG. All these ones I will return to delete them. I think that's also let's launch instance. It's as simple as that. So I said to us that all the other things you're saying and their meaning when we get into AWS, uh, I'm going to explain them properly. Okay. So we have our server here and it is running. Can we click on the instance ID now? I need the public IP address and the username. I know the username. Okay. I know that on AWS, for every Amazon Linux server you launch, the username, the default username on it is EC2 user. Okay. I know for Ubuntu, the default username is Ubuntu. But so that we can become uh, innate to this environment, I'll show you where to get it. I'm sure by your third class, you also know this already, especially if you learn to terminate and launch new servers you're about to practice. Okay, so let's click on connect here. We would have connected directly from here and start working, but I told us connecting from the console home makes your sessions uninteresting because there are other things that interferes with what you're doing. So this is the public IP address and this is the username. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll pop up my Themios. Can you see my Themios, please? Confirm you're able to see my Themios.
Yes.
Thank you. So I have a session, this guy here, but I know that some things has happened. The IP address would have changed. Okay, so what do? I go ahead and copy the IP address. This is it. And then I replace this. The name, as you want to maintain the name, the city user. The key pair is not Mo Ireland. The key pair I used is for London because I'm working from London region today. What will inform your decision as to which region to work on? We will know that when we get into AWS. You don't just come to account and select any region. You place your servers close to the clients you're working for to reduce latency. Okay. So that's it. Let's connect, add and continue. Okay, this is too tiny. And please confirm you're able to see my screen. Are the fonts big enough? Hi everyone. Is that font big enough for you, please?
It would be great if it can be bigger, but I think it
Yeah,
works.
coach, for me, it's big enough, but the background, it's a little.
Okay.
Could you use maybe a different?
Let's go find something black. How about this?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. That's the beauty of Themios. I'm not sure about now, but at last when I use other SSH clients, it's you're stuck to white and black, which is good anyway. Nobody argues with white and black. Right, so let's start a learn. The first thing you will need to know, everyone, is that Linux is case sensitive. Linux is case sensitive. All right. This Linux is not the same as this Linux. It's not the same as this Linux. Okay. Linux is case sensitive. That's one. Two, when we begin to talk about navigation, I will encourage you to drop everything that is distracting you and then you listen. And we begin to talk about navigation. Okay. Now, this is your shell prompt, your Linux shell prompt. Windows call it command prompt. macOS call it terminal. Okay. On cloud platforms, you hear it as shell, cloud shell. All right. Mr. Cletus, please go ahead.
Coach, sorry, I can't sign into my console. It's asking me for the user ID, and I didn't see it that day.
User ID.
Yeah, account ID, sorry.
Account ID.
Yes.
Did you download that .csv file?
Oh, yes, I did.
So go use the URL. That URL comes with your account ID. There's a URL on that .csv file. Okay.
Yeah, thank
Even
you.
even if you don't use the URL, the account ID is on that URL. You can just copy it out. 12 digits, please. All right. So look at your shell prompt. At this point, not even until I get into teaching us navigation. From this point on, I encourage you to focus on this screen and do not be distracted. You begin to get simple tips that are used to confirm if truly a person says he knows about Linux. Very simple thing that when they ask you at interviews and you flunk, you will not be able to tell your interviewer that you know greater and mighty things about that stuff, because if you can't answer a simple question about it, how then are you able to convince me you know what that is? This is your shell prompt. And irrespective of the Linux distro to appear this way, okay, I think we should just at the same time launch the second distro. This is a distro under Red Hat Package Manager, RPM, Amazon Linux 2. Let us also launch one under the Debian Package Manager. So we can be looking at it side by side together. Start fair. Let's quickly go and do that. Come to instances. Then let's rename this. We're going to call it server RPM. Okay. So let's quickly launch another instance. GTT 24 server Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a distro of Linux under Debian. So this is Ubuntu. Look at it. It is owned by Canonical, South African country. I worked for them for as a contractor short thing, but it didn't last. Don't ask me why it did not last. Okay, T2 Mac. So I've selected Ubuntu 22. I'm still going to stick with T2 Micro because it is free tier. So the one I selected here as well, 22.04, it's also free tier. That way I'm not going to be charged. I'm still going to use the same key pair. I'm still going to use the same security group, which is London SG, and then I'll launch instance. Okay. I don't like how I'm seeing plenty security group in that place. I'll do some housekeeping later on. So let's go to our dashboard. Let's refresh here. So we now have RPM and Ubuntu. Now I'm going to click on the Ubuntu one. If I click connect, you will now see that the username for Ubuntu distro is not EC2. This default username is what? Ubuntu. So I'll copy this guy and I'll return to Themios. I'll click on vote. This guy, let's also rename it server under RPM. Saved. So we need a new host. With a new host, I'll paste the public IP. Then the session name is going to be GTT 24 server under. Now, this name I'm giving it here is a custom name. You can put whatever you feel convenient with there. But the IP address here and the username here are not custom. Okay. So is the key still going to be London region? And now let's connect. And continue. Okay. So I just want to, those that are putting stuff on Zoom chat, I'm not going to capture it because I've hidden it. You need to ask questions or mute yourself and ask. Okay. I won't be able to be reading chat while I'm in class. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask. Okay, so look at what you see here. Look at it properly. And what you see here. You notice it is similar. You have a name followed by the @ sign, and you have another name. Then you have this thing called tilde, and then you have the $sign. The same thing here, you have a name followed by the @ sign. You have another name. Then you have this thing called tilde, followed by the $sign. So you will see that you will believe now when I said if you learn properly a distro of Linux, you have learned 95% of the distros of Linux out there. All right. So let's explain what your command prompt means. The name before the @ sign, whatever name it is, the name before this @ sign, I think I need to make that bigger so everyone can see. Good. The name before the @ sign is the current signed in user. So either you see in this place, Bosse or Lola or Ola or Matthew or John or Jessica, it means that at this moment or currently, the user that is signed into our computer is whatever name you see here. The same way when you turn on your laptop, okay, you have different user on it. Then you get to a screen where you click on a user and then you signed in if you have the password. That's how it is on Linux OS as well. Okay. And after the @ sign, the next name you will see is the name of the computer you are signed into. Okay. Now, Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, decides that they will call the name of their virtual computers IP followed by the local or the private IP address of that computer. We are still going to talk about IP version 4 addresses, so you understand what you are saying here. But if it were to be a regular physical computer, whatever name the owner of the computer gives the computer is what you see here. You see something like Shegun's PC, or you see something like Office PC. All right. If you are using Mac OS, go to your terminal right now on your Mac OS, and you probably see your name after the @ sign here when you get to your terminal on Mac OS. Okay. So I take it again. The name here is the name of the current signed in user. After the @ sign, the next name you see is the name of the computer this user is signed into. And what you see here For now, it is a tilde sign. It could be something else later. Okay. But whatever you see here means the current working directory. Now, directory in Linux means folder. Okay. So this is the folder where you are in at the moment, current working directory. This name can change. I'll tell you what this tilde sign means. All right. And this dollar sign you see here means that this entire shell prompt is ready for input. Input means it is ready to begin to accept your whatever command you might want to give to it. Not only that, dollar sign also means that you are working as non-root. You're working as non-root. It means that whoever is signed in this place is not a root. That's dollar sign. If I switch to root now, sudo su, I have switched to root. You will notice that the name here has changed. So it means the user that is currently signed in, the current working user is who? Is root. Signed into the same computer, and the directory where this user is working at the moment is that directory is called what? EC2 user. So why you have EC2 user here and you also have EC2 user here, I'm going to explain shortly. But pay attention, this sign has changed to the hashtag. In Linux, we call it shebang. Okay, shebang. So when you see this, or when you are working, when you're reading techie literature of how to do something, and they want to give you a command line, and you see this before the command line. Okay, now please pay attention to what I'm saying. It depends on the environment where you are. Okay, if it is a bash script, this might mean something else, which I'm going to explain shortly. Okay, but if someone like me that writes tech article for organizations, when I write command and I put dollar before the command, what I'm telling you is that when you're running that command, you must run it as a non-root. That means you do not sign in as root to run that command. But when you see this, you will run that command as what? As root. All right. But this changes entirely when you are in a scripting file, when you are writing a code, when you are coding or you are scripting. This means you are commenting out that particular line. We'll get into it and I'll explain to you. I just want you to understand what the shell prompt means. So again, the name before the @ means the current working user. After the @ the name means the machine you are signed into, the machine name. Then what you see next is the current working directory. And I told us directory means what? Folder. Okay. And the dollar sign means you're working as non-root. It also means that this shell prompt is ready for input. If you do not see dollar sign or hash sign, you should not enter any command. It won't work. Probably means a process is running and your interface is not ready to accept commands. Okay. So that's it. Any question before we move on? Any question before we move on, please? Are we good to go? Hello, everyone. Please talk to me. Are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Yeah, Steven,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, like my observation, like you have just said, I think we need to know the difference between when we're working on our local system and when we are working, whatever we're doing, that we're working on a cloud server, because some of us doesn't know the difference between we're working just on our local system and the difference between we working on a remote cloud server.
Okay,
Just
so
my
if you are
observation.
working on the cloud server, then you know that you have to connect to the internet to access the server. Because the server which you are seeing right now is a cloud server, and it means I have to sign into AWS to access the server. So I think I said it in this class 2 days ago. Anything you access over the internet, you are in cloud. Okay. But if it were to be a virtual machine resident on your own computer that you did not have to connect to it via internet, then that's a server that is resident on your computer, either physical or virtual machine. All right. And this interface is the same. Either it is cloud, or it is virtual, or it is on premise, or it is anything. Okay. That's why I said for those that have a Mac OS, interface of Mac OS and Linux, their command line interface is the same. So if you go to your terminal on your Mac OS right now, you will see something like this. Is anybody using Mac OS and have you checked? Give us feedback when you do. Okay. So I'm going to return to regular user, and then I'm going to clear screen. So if you have not learned any command thus far, I'm sure you have seen me use clear severally just to clear my screen. Okay. So I've told us about shell prompt. Now, another basic thing you need to know, if you want to use a command and you're sure you've used that command before on your current session, and there are some terminals that store sessions, okay? There are 4 arrows on your physical keyboard, okay? They are under the right side shift button. The up arrow, the down arrow, the arrow to the left, and the arrow to the right. So if I've used the command before and I want to use the command again, and I don't want to repeat typing the command, I can use the up arrow. When I press up arrow once, it shows me the command I used last. If I keep pressing up arrow, it begins to navigate to all the commands I have used. Do you see that? Either they are correct command or not. As long as I tap enter after the command, it is registered. So that's it. If I want to come back, I press the down arrow. It's as simple as that. Now, if I press the up arrow, look at this command, clear, okay? And I want to go, I want to modify this command. I can use the arrow to the left to enter towards the left. I can use arrow to the right to enter towards the right. Okay. As basic as this sound, I can use it during interview to check a prospective employee if that person is actually a conversant user of the Linux operating system. So let's say you are in a technical interview session, and then we are watching you over Zoom, and we give you access to our platform to do 1 or 2 things. And then there's like a long password that you have to use repeatedly. And I see you having to type it out every time you use it. And I know this person does not like to work smart. This person likes to stress himself or herself. Okay. Because if you have used the command before or recently, and you have to use it again, and it's a long command, you just use up arrow. Okay. So you will notice that I've been using clear and I have to be typing it out every time. Okay. I could have just used up arrow, clear, and then tap enter. Okay. So that's that. I've told us about the shell prompt. I've told us about using the command arrow the up and then the down arrow. Okay. What I'm about to tell you next is selective. For Terminus, this is how you copy. For mobile exterm, how you copy is different. Let's say I want to copy this command now. Now this copy now is only to copy to your clipboard, not to copy a specific item, file, or folder, just to copy to your keyboard. If it were to be mobile exterm, for those who are using mobile exterm, once you highlight, short highlight like this, it has copied. Just short, there is a short and there's the long highlight like this. This is a long highlight. But when you do short highlight like this, in mobile exterm, it has copied. But for Terminus, which you are using currently, when you do this short highlight and you use the command Ctrl-Shift-C, you know, in your regular Windows, to copy is Ctrl-C to copy. But here in Terminus, when you use Ctrl-Shift-C, it has copied. And when you get to where you want to paste the command, you use Ctrl-Shift-V, it will paste. Okay, so you see, the same way to switch to root on a distro of Linux under RPM is the same way to shift to root on the distro of Linux under Ubuntu. So right now, look at what you are saying. Root signed in into this machine, and this is the directory of where you are working at the moment inside Ubuntu. Okay, and you notice that the $sign here has also changed to the shebang sign here. Then exit to return back to the regular user. Okay, that's it. Now let's talk about this directory. Again, I'd like you to please pay attention. On the Linux system, when a user is created on the Linux system, two other things are created with that user. Pay attention, everyone. When a user is created on the Linux system, either the system is a regular system or you're using it as a server to manage other systems or to manage a network, it's the same thing. This name you see here means a user. Whatever you see here means a folder, but I tell you, Linux calls their folder directory or directory, whichever one you like. Okay, I said whatever you see here means it is a directory, means it is a folder, and it means this is the folder you are currently working from. This is the current working directory. If I want to see the path to this folder, the path to this current working directory, I'm going to run the command pwd, meaning print working directory. If I tap enter, it shows me this is the path of this directory. If I come here as well, and I also run print working directory pwd, and I tap enter, you will see it shows me the same thing. Root home Ubuntu. Okay, when we get into navigation, I'll tell you about this root. The same thing here, root home EC2 user. This one is root home Ubuntu. What changed between these two is EC2 user here and then Ubuntu here. Okay, now let's get back to the story. When a user is created on the Linux system, two other things are created automatically with that user. Now, this is the dicey part. The three of them, the user and the two other things created, they bear the same name. So what are those two other things? Hold on, are we recording this session? Oh, beautiful. What are those two other things? The group, the primary group of the user and the user home. Okay. So that is created. One, the user's primary group. Okay. And two, the user's home, or some people call it the user's home directory. The primary group of the user and the user's home directory. The user's home directory or the user's home folder. And that's what you are seeing here. How do you now differentiate between the three of them? The user itself, the primary group of the user, and the user's home directory. Because the three of them will bear the same name. Okay, so for EC2 user now, class, what's the name of the user's home? For EC2 user, what's the name of the user home? Are you with me?
Gosh.
The root?
It can be root. So let's backtrack a little. When you create a user, what other things are created with the user?
Directory one.
Please speak up. Don't be shy, speak up. If you are wrong, we'll correct it and we'll.
The
You what?
user's directory. The user's directory
Okay, and what?
group.
Yes, the primary group of the user and the home directory of the user, right? So what do we say their names are? What do they bear?
EC2 user.
No. Yes, they will be easy to user in this case, but generally, what's their name? What's the name of the primary group and what's the name of the user's home directory?
Is it the user group?
The user group has a name. When you create a group, you give it a name. When you create a folder, you give it a name. So now I'm asking, when a user is created on Linux, it has a user home, which is the home folder, and it also has a primary group. And I said something about the names of these two.
Home
Is it
directory.
the pseudo user?
You said?
Is it the pseudo user?
No, I said that there's something unique about the name of these three things. This is how to check our attention in class. Okay. I said that the three of them bears the same name. Did anybody copy when I said that?
Yes.
Did anybody heard when I said that?
Yes, I have.
All right. So the three of them bears the same name. Okay. So let's say I create a user and I call the user Cletus user. What will the primary group of Cletus? What will be the name of the primary group of Cletus?
Cletus.
Good. What will be the name of the user home of Cletus?
Cletus.
Beautiful. So do you all copy now? I hope we are all together. This is not a time to be distracted. This is a time to listen. This is not even the time that you want to do it as I'm doing it. This is the time to listen because these are foundational classes. So let's take it again. When you create when a user is created on the Linux operating system, two things are automatically created with the user. The user home and the user primary group. Okay. And the three of them bears the same name. Okay, since this is practical, let's quickly do that. Sudo, I want to create a user. We've not gotten there. I just want to show you what we are saying, because when you see something, at times it stick better. Sudo user add Cletus. Okay, and then let's give Cletus a password. Sudo. I'm going to be showing us all of this. I just want to use it to buttress. Sudo password Cletus. And then let's call the password this. Now in Linux, when you're entering password, it will not show you anything. You just enter by faith and then you move on. It says password does not match. Okay, let me start again. All right, so let me clear screen. And I have a user called Cletus. Can I switch to Cletus? To switch to a user, the command is su, meaning switch user. Cletus, and then Cletus. Good. So from what you are saying now, this is my current shell prompt. What's the name of the user that is signed in at the moment? Okay. And we know that he's signed into this machine. Okay. This EC2 user here, what does it mean? If you understand what I've explained about shell prompt. Here it is a tilde. Here it is called EC2 user. What does this EC2 user mean?
The home directory.
Folder.
It is beautiful. I like that. It's a folder. Okay, the first responder, what mess it up is you put home. No, this is a directory. This is it, and it is called what? What kind of directory is, what kind of folder or directory is it called? Whatever you see here, because I told you that the name may change. You might not see it as tilde sign in some cases. You might see whatever you see here is a folder. Okay, but I call it a specific folder. What kind of folder do I call it? The current working directory, the current working folder. This is the folder where you are working at the moment. Okay. Now let's go logical. Let's go logical. Please pay good attention. Right? One thing about teaching this way and putting your energy into it is that people you are teaching pay attention. And when you need feedback from them, because of their attentiveness, you get what you require. Now, please look at it properly. When it was EC2 user that was signed in, you're seeing at the current working directory, you're seeing a tilde sign. When I switched user, what I did here was to switch user. I did not change the folder where I'm working from. I'm still within the same folder. When I switched user to clear tools, the current working directory, the current working folder here changed to, it didn't change, it became EC2 user. So what it means is this tilde sign, as at when EC2 user was signed in, is actually a what? EC2 user. I will use a command now, which I'm going to tell us later when we get there. CD, change directory, and I tap enter. Now you see that this current working directory again has changed to what? Tilde sign. If I run print working directory, meaning show me the full path of the directory I am, see what I'm saying? Root home Cletus. When I was signed in as EC2 user and I ran the command print working directory, what it showed was root home EC2 user, right? Now, the first thing you should know is this. Whenever you run print working directory, know that what it is showing you is the full path, or you call it the absolute path to your current working directory. Okay. And the last name there is a folder. In fact, all of them are folders. This is Cletus folder inside the home folder, and the home folder is inside the root folder. You will get to navigation, but let's understand this shell prompt first. Now, this is what this tilde sign means. Whenever a user is signed in into its own user home directory or into its own home folder, because the home folder bears the same name as the user, you will not see Cletus here and also see Cletus here. What you will see here is this tilde sign. Did anybody copy that? Or you want me to repeat? This is the basics. This is the foundation to all you will be doing. Okay. I'll say it again. Whenever you see a tilde sign here, it means that you are working from the home directory of whoever is signed in. So when EC2 user was the current user signed in, tilde sign here means that we are in the home directory of EC2 user, and the name of that home directory is also EC2 user. But you can't see EC2 user here, EC2 user here. So whenever a user goes into its own user home folder, the name here changes to this tilde sign. And now that Cletus is signed in, it means that this tilde sign means we are in the home directory of Cletus. Do you copy? Talk to me. Do you understand? Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So you will now see when I changed user here, when I switched to Cletus from EC2 user, you see that this guy here changed to what? This folder became EC2 user. It would still have remained tilde if the user here was EC2 user. But the moment the user changed, I'm no longer, since I'm not in the home directory of Cletus, what is shown here is the name of the folder where I am. When I use CD, CD means change directory. Ordinary CD from wherever you are at all on the Linux system. Ordinary CD will take you to the home directory of the signed in, the current user. So when I used CD here, I'm saying take me to the user home. When I got to the user home, you see that this guy changed to tilde. So whenever you see tilde sign, it means you are in the user home of whoever is signed in. So when I switch the user from EC2 to Cletus here, because I'm not in the user home of Cletus, what I'm seeing here is the name of the folder here. And that name is what? EC2 user. Put that one. Let's move on to the next one. When you create a user, that was what even made us created Cletus. I said 3 other things are created. User home and the primary group of that user. And these 3 things bear the same name. So Cletus user home is also called Cletus folder. Cletus primary group is also called Cletus. Now, how will you know which one is which? They are saved in different places. I'll start with the user home, the home directory of the users. So far, we have 2 users on this server, EC2 user and Cletus. If you want to see their home directories, you go into the home folder. Okay. Now, let me quickly explain this to you. Cletus is a folder inside home, while home is a folder inside root. We haven't gotten there. Let me make a directory. I want to create a folder. The command to create folder is make directory. I'll show you when we get there. I just want to buttress what I'm about to tell you. And let's call the directory Lola. And let me go into Lola, cd Lola. You will notice that the moment I leave the user home of Cletus and change directory into Lola folder, the name here changed to Lola, meaning that I'm now inside Lola's. I'm now inside a folder, and the name of the folder is what? Lola. So this is my current working directory. If I run print wd now, you see this. So I was inside Cletus user home when I created Lola folder. So that means Lola folder is inside Cletus user home, Cletus directory. Okay. What I created here is a directory, a folder, please, not a user. Okay. Now this guy, this is the full path to this current directory. Now what you are seeing here means Lola is a folder inside Cletus. Cletus is a folder inside home, and home is a folder inside root. When you see a path like this for Linux, the first / you see means root, ROOT, and everything starts from the root. Okay, if I want to go into the root folder, look at this path properly. No, let me clear screen first, and then print working directory again. Look at this path properly. Let's navigate to it one by one. Let me go into root. To go into root, the command is cd space / From anywhere you are at all, if you type cd change directory space / it takes you to the root folder. So you will now see that we are now inside the root folder. Okay. I will need to reduce this font because I don't want to clear things for what I want to show you next. So let me reduce this font a bit. If I run ls, I'm coming back to show you all of these simple commands. We are still dealing on what the command prompt is for now. Okay? If I run ls, it showed me all the folders and files inside this root folder. I want it to list it for me in detail, so I'll run ls flag L. Okay, so the same thing you see here are what you're seeing here. Okay, so there is bin, boot, dev, etc, home, all of that. I told you that home is a folder Do you have any question?
Yes, please. The command ls minus l, is it the same as the ls minus la?
Yeah, there's an addition thing to it. The A means show hidden files and folders. But like I said, we'll get to that. Okay. Let's not run ahead of the shadow. We'll get into all these commands. What I want to show you, what I'm teaching us now is your command prompt, how to understand your command prompt. We've not gotten into learning ls and ll. Okay, we will touch all of that. All right, so let's move on. I'm dealing with this part. I said Lola is a folder inside Cletus. Cletus is a folder inside the home. Home is a folder inside root. Okay, from this my shell prompt, who can tell me which folder are we currently? See this, I have highlighted the shell prompt. Who is able to tell me my current working folder?
Root.
Beautiful, this is it, root. And when I did ls flag L, it showed me all the content of this folder. Okay, do you see home here? This home is this home that you are seeing here. This is home inside root folder. We are inside root folder. I listed the content. It showed me everything. You find home here. So let me go into this home. The command will be cd home, right? So cd home. It says no such file or directory, but I'm seeing home here. So why is it telling me no such file or directory?
Case sensitive.
Beautiful. We said Linux is case sensitive, and this home is not the same as this home. Okay, so let's go into cd home now. If I run print working directory, do you now see I'm inside home now? Root is a folder, sorry, home is a folder inside root. When I was inside root, I listed the content. It showed me all of this, and I saw that home is also a folder inside root. So I cd into this directory, and now I'm inside home. And what showed root here has changed to home here. What showed root here has changed to home here. So I hope you are following. Let's also list the content of this home folder, ls flag hell. Having listed the content of this home folder, ls flag l, we see that we have Cletus and we also have EC2 users. Okay, so I will ask us, this Cletus and this EC2 user, are these the folders, the user folders, or the users itself?
User folder.
Beautiful. These are folders and not the users. So where I'm going is this. I said three things, they bear the same name. The user home directory, and the user primary group. And three of them bears the same name. Then I want to show us how to know which one is which. I told us it is where you see them that determines what is what. If you go into the home folder, which is inside root, what you will find inside the home folder are the user home of the respective users. So please, do not come into the home folder and say that what you find in the home folder are the users on this Linux system. No. I can actually create a folder in this place. And if I create a folder here, does that mean I have a user bearing that folder? No. I can also delete a folder from here. And if I delete that folder, the user still exists. And I've deleted the user home of that folder. So does that mean if you do not see that folder here, That user is not on the server. No. So let's get it now. When you are in this home folder, what you find inside the home folder, most of the time, are the user home of the respective users. But it is possible that a folder does not exist. Maybe it was deleted and the user still exists. Okay, so you are seeing home now. If I cd into ClearTools, see what's going to happen. Cd ClearTools. Pay attention to what will happen here. I cd into ClearTools. Instead of seeing ClearTools here, what did it change to? Tilde sign. Do you now understand when I said, when you see a tilde sign here, it tells you you are in the user home of whoever is signed in. And if I run the command print working directory, it tells me I'm inside ClearTools directory. ClearTools is a directory inside home. Home is a directory inside root folder. If I run the content of this guy again, I created Lola the other time, I hope you remember. So if I cd into Lola again, and you see that the name here has changed to Lola, meaning I'm now inside what? Lola folder. If I also run print working directory, look at it. Lola is a folder inside ClearTools. ClearTools is a folder inside home. Home is a folder inside root. We are back to where we started from. Any question? Hello, class. Any question?
No.
Okay, so if there's no question, I'm going to ask my own just to check our understanding. And please don't shy away from answering. Even if you are not sure, say it so we can correct ourselves. Now, let me clear. cd root home. I'm inside the home directory and I list. So I'm using ls now instead of ls flagel. I'm going to teach us. Okay. EC2 user ClearTools. What are these folders? What are they called? Anybody knows what ClearTools folder is and what EC2 user folder is?
Directories?
Yes, they are folders. They are also called directories. But from what I've been explaining since,
There are folders inside the home directory
good.
of the
There
user
are
side.
folders inside the home directory. Okay. And they are home folders of their respective what? Users. Okay. Good. So you now know where to find the user home of a particular user. Just cd into root home. Good. We have a lot to learn at this foundational level, and we'll take it one by one. That's one. If I want to see all the users, I want to see all the users on the Linux server. There is a file called password file. I just need to edit or view the password file, and I will see all the users on this Linux server. Okay. So if I run the command get entry is a command to view known database files on the Linux server. It will not work for all files, please. Pay attention. There are some files on the Linux server that they are called libraries or database files that are known. Now, irrespective of where you are, when I say where you are, I mean irrespective of the folder you are currently working from. If you want to view such known files, when I say known, I mean the Linux system knows them. They are known database files. Just use the command getEnt, the name of that file. It will take you there. So getEnt password, you will see our EC2 user. You will also see the Cletus. So class, to view all the users on the Linux server, what's the name of the file to go and see, to go and view? Password file.
Password.
Now, to view all the groups on the Linux server, group is also a known database file. So we can use getEnt with it. GetEnt means get entries. Okay. So you can use getEnt with it as well. To view all the groups, either primary groups or secondary groups, on the Linux server, just go and view the group file. Look at the primary group of EC2 user. Look at the primary group of Cletus. So you now know the three components: the user, the primary group of that user, the user home of that user. The three of them bear the same name, but where you will find each of these components at different places. For the user home, you go to the home folder, you will see the user home directories there. For the user itself, you go and view the password file. You see the users on your server there. And for groups, you go and view the group files. You see the user and the groups there. Now, these are the things you need to know about your shell prompt. Let me clear screen. Any question before we move on? Any question before we
Yes,
move?
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
So I was just wondering, wouldn't it be maybe a lot easier if we know like the commands and the functions, and then that way it's easy for us to follow when you use those commands? Because right now we're just having like different commands coming and we don't know which is which. Like, do you have maybe a manual, like a Linux manual that has all of that, also a note you can share with us?
Yes, I do. We're not learning commands yet.
Oh, but you're doing like different things to get different things. You've been doing like the...
Yeah, and I've always said after each command that we're not there yet. I'm going to teach us this. Have you listened to that part as well? So every command I used, I tell us, I'm still coming back to teach you this. I just needed to use that command to buttress what I'm teaching you at the moment. Has anybody ever heard me say that since I've been teaching? Because if I just give you commands, you will be overwhelmed. Okay. So for every command we're going to learn, I'll still tell you the reason behind these commands. So I've used many commands, but we are not looking at commands yet. What I've been showing you all since we started this your shell prompt. Things to know about your shell prompt. Okay.
Okay.
Any other question, please? All right, so let's do a quick review before we go for break. The name here means what? Hi, everyone. What does the name here mean?
The user.
User.
Good. And then after the @ sign, what does the name mean?
The computer where we're working on.
Beautiful. Then what will you find here? Either it is tilde sign or a name. Okay, let me switch CD to
Your home
Lola.
directory.
Okay,
The
so now
directory code.
is what? What will you find here? Either it is tilde sign or it is a name. What will you find here?
Folder.
Yeah, what kind of folder? Correct. What kind of folder?
Home folder.
No.
Oh.
Currently it is Lola.
The directory.
Lola is not the home folder of Cletus.
Oh, okay.
So who remembers?
The directory.
Directory.
Yes, it's a directory. You
So
always find
the
folders here, but what folder is it called?
present working directory.
Beautiful.
I
The
think that was on
present
mute.
or the current working directory. So when it was this, it was the home folder of what? Of this user, Lola. Then I CD Lola, that means I changed of this user, Cletus, I mean. Then I CD into a new folder called Lola. And then this changes to what? Lola. Let me create another user now. Make directory and call it folder 1. And let me CD into folder 1. So where am I now? Folder 1.
Folder 1.
So what will you call whatever you see here?
The current working directory.
Beautiful. The current or the present working directory. Good. So this $sign means what?
You can enter your command, like your
Beautiful.
prompt.
It means this your shell prompt is ready for input. What does it also mean?
The user is not signed in as root.
It also means that the user that is currently signed in is not root, a non-root user, right? But if you see it as an hash, oh, sorry. Okay, let me just ditch that. Let me clear. I want to go to root, so let me first exit. Okay. What you saw now, I'm still going to explain it. All right, so what does this mean?
The user is signed in as root.
Okay, so this also means this interface is ready for input, and then whatever you do now, you're doing it as well, as a root. But I told us before, do not work as what? As a root. Okay, rather work as regular user. And how to elevate the user to a sudoer, we'll get to that, and then we'll teach us. So that's what we've been learning so far. All that we've taken about 1 hour to teach us is simple, but it is the basics. It is the foundation. If the foundation is not firm, okay, nothing you can build on it. You can see a lot of commands. If you go to Google, you will see command cheat sheets on Google. A lot of them. But if you do not understand basics, navigations importantly, and your shell prompt, you will enter the right command in a wrong place, and it gives you a wrong output, and you now be wondering what's happening. Okay, so for those who have had me teach from different faculties, I tell you, understanding the basics is like 50% of Linux. And the basics is on your shell prompt and navigation. Okay, so you're looking for commands, it's everywhere. You don't even need to come to any class to see commands. Okay, but if you don't know where to use a command, then it's useless. So let's do another quick review. Let me see the this tilde sign here means what? Anybody remembers?
Home directory.
You said?
The home directory.
Beautiful. The home directory. So it means that we are in the home directory of who?
EC2 or Cletus? Because it's on root
Root
nowadays.
of root.
Beautiful. Of root.
But
So
the root
tilde
is
sign
of a
means
user,
we are
right?
in the. Go ahead.
Root of which user? Is that not what you asked?
Yes. This tilde sign means you are in the home directory. Home directory of who? Of a user, isn't it? Which user? The current user here. Did you get that? That person that is saying EC2. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Good. So if the user here is not EC2 user, is not Cletus. Let's say the user here is John, and you see tilde sign. What does the tilde sign then means? You are in the home directory of who? Of John. If the user signed in here is Biden, and you see tilde sign, it means you are in the home directory of Biden. So this tilde sign always means that you are in the home directory of whoever user is signed in here. Do you copy? Hello? We are doing review. Do you copy? Do you understand now?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get it from that person that was saying Cletus and EC2 user when it got this correctly. Okay, so that's it. We'll take 10 minutes break. When we return from 10 minutes from our break, we now go into navigation properly. Okay, so after navigation, if we are able to explain navigation, then we'll go into learning the basic commands. Okay, so let's take 10 minutes break now, please.
Hi, Coach.
Good. So we've talked about shell prompts. Let's talk about navigation. Here, we look at how to navigate the file system on our Linux system. Linux organizes its files in a hierarchical directory manner. And that means they are organized in a tree-like pattern, like a tree. Directories, which we also call folders, start from the root. Okay. And directories can contain both subdirectory and files. Okay. The first directory in the Linux file system is called the root directory. Can I exit? Can I clear? Can I list? Is there anything here? Nothing. If I run print working directory, good. The first directory in the Linux file system is always the root directory. So this guy you are seeing here means what? Root. Okay. So if I do cd / now, cd means change directory. Like I said, or like I have said, we are coming to learn these basic commands. Means change directory to the root folder. So you see this guy here has changed. And if I run print working directory, I'm inside the root folder. Inside the root folder, there's another folder called home with other folders and files. If I say change directory to that folder home, I'm now inside home folder. If I run print working directory, then you see I'm inside home. Home is a folder inside root. Okay. Inside home, we have all our user homes. Okay. If I cd into EC2 user, cd EC2 user, I'm now inside EC2 user directory. The reason I'm not saying it EC2 user and I'm saying tilde sign is because I'm inside the home folder of the signed in user. And if I also run print working directory, you see EC2 user inside home, inside root. Okay, so you will hear some literature say the parent folder of EC2 user, as far as this part is concerned, is what? Home. The parent folder of home is what? Is root folder. Okay, so I'll say that again. The first directory in the Linux file system is the what? Root directory. The root directory contains files and subdirectories, which contain more files and subdirectory, and so on and so on. Okay, now for those who wants to learn command, let's start. The first command you need to know is the pwd. Pwd means print working directory. Okay, so when you log in into your Linux system, or when you start a session, as you started a session on Temios like this, okay, your current working directory is set to the home directory. Okay, when you log in afresh into your Linux system, when you log in into a Linux system from an SSH client, your current working directory is set by default to where? Your home, your user home directory. So it means if I start a session now, it automatically take me to the user home of the user. And to see where you are, of course, I've taught us that from this shell prompt, you know where you are. I know I'm in this directory, and I know this directory is the user home of this user. But to see the full path of where you are, the command is pwd, meaning print working directory. It will show you the path of your current working directory. So I'm in EC2 user. Okay, so that's that about pwd. Now, to list the content of a directory, let's go to a folder that has a lot of things. So we can use that to explain better. Let me go to root. Let's see. We haven't started, so let's just build on this foundation. Where am I currently? Is anybody able to tell me where I am currently? Is anybody able to tell me where I am currently? Look at your shell prompt.
BTC folder.
Hello, class.
ETC folder, I guess.
ETC.
Yes, etc folder. I wonder why it's taking long. Anyway, I know you will get used to this over time. So when I ask a question in class, don't be mindful of if you're going to be wrong or not. Okay, just say it how you understand it. Okay, the reason why you should not mind if you're wrong or not is if you don't say it, you will not be sure if you are wrong or right. And if you are wrong, it will help me to teach you the right thing. Just as when I was in Tilda and the user here was root, and the person saw Tilda and correctly said it was the user home, and I asked user home of what? But because the person has always seen ClearTools and EC2 user, the person said ClearTools or EC2 user. So you see that understanding helped me to explain to that person better that it is not EC2 user or ClearTools. Whatever you see here means the home directory of whoever is in this place, which might not be EC2 user or ClearTools in other places. So don't hesitate to respond when I ask questions. We're not looking for who is right or wrong. We're looking for how to understand what we are teaching. Thank you. So now I'm in inside Etsy. I want to use it to teach us listing the content of the directory. So it is easy from the graphics user interface. The moment you click a folder, it shows you see all this everything inside that folder. But now we are inside command line interface. When you sit into a folder, it does automatically show you the content of the folder. If it were to be your PowerShell or your Windows command prompt, if you run the command dir, it shows you all the folder. Okay, but this is Linux. To see the content of a folder in Linux, the first command is ls, which means short list. Okay, list summarily or list in short form the content of this Etsy folder, and this is all that you have inside this folder. A lot of them. Okay, so you see that all you see is just files and directories. Now, if your theme is black and white, let me quickly switch to that. Can I see black and white here? Of course, it's the regular basic. Good. Okay. Is there the thermostat, light? Good. The ones in blue. No, let's not confuse things. We'll get to that. We're coming to see them. Let me just show you in good order, which will not confuse anyone. So to list the content of a directory is what? ls. However, it will only list for you in short form. If you want to see the listing in detail form, use the command ls space hyphen. This hyphen in Linux is called flag. Okay, flag. ls flag l, meaning list for me in detailed form the content of this Etsy folder. If I tap enter, the same thing it listed for us the other time. Now it is listing it in detailed form. So here you're able to see this one here represents the permission. Okay, this here represents user. This represents the group. Okay, the size 35 kilobytes, the month, the time, the month, the day of the month, the time, and the name of the file. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you earlier is this: the ones in blue, they are folders. You also call them directories, the ones in blue. While the ones in black are files, all manner of files. Okay, now for those that are colorblind, okay, if you do not see, if you're not able to identify the color here, if you go to their permissions, D here means directory. So the ones you see that D starts their permission groups, partition, they are what? They are directories, they are folders. Okay. The ones that does not have D means they are files. Okay. So can we clear screen? Good. So let's quickly review. How do you list the content of a directory in short form? LS. How do you list the content of a directory in long form or in detailed form? LS flag L. Okay. LS and LS flag L don't mix it up. Will only work for directories, folders. It will not work for files. Files are different from folders. The same way, CD means change directory. If you want to go into a directory, the command is CD followed by the name of that directory. It will work for directories, not folders. Okay, so that's it. The next command you need to know is there are what we call aliases. Alias. Okay, so on general Linux interfaces, it is registered that LL is an alias for LS flag L. Alias means what you can use in place of a thing. Okay, not LA, please. LS flag L. So what we are saying is instead of typing LS flag L, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 4 types that will get me here. Let me show you. 1, 2, the space, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. So we have an alias for LS flag L, which is LL. But mind you, there are some Linux interface where LL will not work. If I install Jenkins on this server and I switch to Jenkins user, LL don't work on Jenkins user. You must use your LS flag L. That's why I'm showing us the basic Linux one first. So LL will perform the same function as LS flag L. Why do you use aliases? You use alias to make life easier for administrators. Instead of having to type this long one, you just use LL. You can create your own default alias. When we get to that part, I'll show you. So when I use LL, you see it's doing the same thing for me. However, all you are seeing here are folders that are not hidden. If I want to see hidden folders, I can say ls flag A. List for me in summary or in short form all the contents of this etc directory, including hidden folders and files. You see that? So if you look around, you will see there are some files starting with dots. Look at this dot here. This is an hidden folder. Okay. When we listed normally, we didn't see it here. Password, PKS. Look at it now. Now we are seeing it. .pwd. Look at this one as well. Dot updated. Okay, so these are hidden folders. So what you can say from here is that to hide a folder on Linux, name the folder and put a dot before the name of the folder. To hide a file as well, whatever you want to hide, name it and put a dot before its name to be hidden. It means when you do a normal content listing, it won't show. Right, so that's it. So just as you used ls flag A, you can also use ls flag LA, meaning list in detailed form all the contents, including hidden folders. And that's why you are seeing this dot here. Okay. You can also use ll flag A. It will perform the same thing as ls flag LA for us. All right. So far, we've seen 6 commands: print working directory, ls, ls flag l, ll, ls flag la, ll flag a. Okay. Now let's work with directory. I can also say there are other things around listing directory, like the person that I asked. I'll be sharing command cheat sheets with you. Okay, so you will also see other ways of listing. I can list in alphabetical order. I can list in order of time, these dates that they are created here, just the way you would do it in your normal Windows. Okay. Now changing directory, you've seen me use cd severally in class. Now let's talk about changing directory now. Can I clear this screen? Yep. So pay attention again. Where are we currently at? Say, if I want to see the full path of my current directory, what would the command be? Anybody knows? I like to see the full path of the current directory. What would the command be? Do you know?
pwd.
Thank you, sir. Print working directory. So it says I'm in Etsy, and Etsy is inside root. Okay. Now, from any directory where you are on your Linux system, I told us this before, but this is the time to explain it. From any directory where you are on your Linux system, if you use the command cd, just cd, it takes you to the user home. Can you see? I was inside Etsy, and cd took me to where? User home. Okay. Let me list the content. There's nothing here. Let's make a directory. Call it USA. Let's cd into USA. And let's make a directory inside USA and call it Canada. And let's cd into Canada. Okay. And let's print working directory. So I'm inside a folder called Canada. Canada is a folder inside USA. USA is a folder inside EC2 user. EC2 user is a folder inside here, home. Home is a folder inside. So I'm inside Canada. If I want to go from Canada to my user home, the user home of this user, the command is just cd, and that's it. You see, I'm back to where? So wherever you are. The same thing. You want to go to the root folder. Don't forget, going to the root folder is not the same thing as signing in as root. There is a user called root, and there's the home directory of root called root as well. Just the same way there's a user called EC2 user, and there's the home directory of EC2 user also called EC2 user. Yeah. So from anywhere I am, let's go back to Canada. Okay. CD. I'm back to Canada now. From anywhere you are, if you run cd /, it takes you to the root folder. And if you list the content, you will see all that you have inside the root folder. All right. Let's return back to Canada. And we also clear screen. Here's our clear command. All right. Print working directory. If I want to go back by one step, If I go back by one step, which folder will I go into? From the part you are saying here. Okay, let me return back to that thing for that person who was in. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Or what other one do we have? Okay, I like this. Let's just stick with this. So if I want to go back by one step, where do you think I'll go to?
USA.
USA.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we will say the parent directory of Canada is what directory? From this
USA.
part now, the parent directory of Canada is US. Good. The parent directory of US is what?
EC2.
Okay, so I'm taking time to tell you all of these things because by yourself, you'll be reading tech literatures. Okay? And when you hear these things, you understand. Right? So let's pay attention. So to go to the parent directory of Canada, I just run the command cd, then cd space dot. It takes me to the parent directory of Canada. That means I go back by one step. We want to go to the parent directory of USA, which is EC2 user, cd dot. I'm back to EC2 user. And by now, everyone should know why this is not saying EC2 user and it is saying tilde. If I want to go to the parent directory of EC2 user, which is home, cd dot. I'm in home. If I want to go to the parent directory of home, which is root, cd dot. Okay. You know, I told us that all file systems start from where? The root directory. So if I continue using dot here, there's no back to go to again. I'm still going to remain in where? In root. Okay.
Coach, I have a question.
Please
So
go
does
ahead.
the cd dot lead you to the next 2 steps backwards?
No. Next step back. You go back.
Next, okay.
Yes. So look at where we are currently inside Canada. If I run print working directory. So if I run cd space dot, takes me from Canada to where? To US. So if I run print working directory, I'm in US now. Look at it. If I run cd dot, it takes me to where? EC2 user. Okay. And I know we all know why it is not showing us EC2 user here. Is there anybody who doesn't know? Okay. So if we run
I don't
again,
mind if you, no, I don't know. I don't know.
okay, so this tilde sign means that you are in the user home of whoever is here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it is changed. Instead of us saying EC2 user here and also EC2 user here, it's rather change the one here to tilde sign.
Okay. Thank you.
Because when we were inside Canada, it showed Canada. When we were inside USA, it showed USA. So now that we are inside EC2 user, we should have seen EC2 user here. But Linux is designed such that when you are in the user home of the signed in user, okay, if you are in the home directory of the signed in user, you will not see the name. What you will see is the tilde sign. Okay. So if you go back by one step again, we know we are going into this home folder. If you go back by one step again, we are going into this guy, the root. Okay, let's return back to past Canada and then let's clear screen. So for the person that talked about going back by 2 steps, cd dot /. Let me print working directory first so you can see. Now, if I run cd dot /. This will take me back by 2 steps. So where do you think I will go? It will take us to now. If you're going back by 2 steps. From
Root?
here.
Root, yeah.
EC2 user.
EC2 user now. It can be
Easy
root.
to use.
Root is far here. So it will take us we are currently in Canada. So if you go back by 2 steps, US EC2 user. So we are coming here. You see? So if I run print working directory, if I go back by 2 steps, where will it take me to? From where I am currently.
Roots.
Beautiful. Take me to root. Home, then root.
Okay, that makes
That's
sense.
it. Are we together? Okay,
Yes.
good. Now let's learn other commands. Let's return to our user home. To create a folder, it were to be your normal Windows. You just right click and then you see what? New folder. And you give it a name, isn't it? But in Linux, to create a folder, the command is mk, means make dir, directory. Make directory and the name of the folder. Okay, so let's call this folder orange. You tap enter. If I list, now I have orange folder. Okay, can we create multiple folders? Let's try it. Make directory, apple, watermelon. And if I list, so you see how to create multiple folders. You just be using space. After make directory, apple, space, watermelon. Can you see? All right. If your folder is going to be more than one single name, okay, maybe I want to create a folder and call the folder Yemi's folder. Then I will have to string it. Okay. So let's go to make directory Yemi folder. If I tap enter now, it will create 2 folders. It will call the first one Yemi, the second one folder. But the intention is that this folder is 1. Okay. What is safe to do in Linux is to make it a single word. Yemi-folder. This will create 1 folder for you. Call it Yemi folder. If I look at it here. But if you insist it must be Yemi space folder, then you string it. This way, it will be 2 words, but just 1 folder. Look at it. Yemi folder and Yemi folder. However, I advise this is better than this. Okay. When you go deeper into using Linux, you will understand why a single name is better than having 2 words as name in Linux. Okay. So that's how to create folder. How then do you delete folder? RMDIR. The RM here means delete directory. Sorry, the RM here means remove. RM, remove. That's how to delete a folder. The RM here means remove directory. So if you want to remove multiple, let's remove Yemi. Good. If I remove RMDIR Yemi folder, what do you think will happen with this command if you understand what happens when I do make directory with this command? Anybody wants to try?
You give an error message.
It gave you an error message.
I said it will give an error.
Okay, so what it will give is not my question, sir. My question is, what do you think will happen? What will Linux try to do with this command? Linux will try to delete.
Maybe delete both.
Good, beautiful. To try to delete 2 folders. The first one Yemi, the first one folder. But you know that in our current directory, there is no folder called Yemi, and there's also no folder called folder. There are no directories called Yemi and folder. Do you see that? No such file or directory called Yemi. Fail to remove Yemi, fail to remove folder. But we want to remove this guy here. So what do? You string it. Stringing means treat it as one word. And now, no error message. Yemi folder is gone. So you understand why I said this method will give you problem. Okay. Always make your file and your folder, let them bear a single name. If there are more than one word, use stuff like this or underscore. Either use an hyphen or use underscore. Okay. So the same way you want to remove multiple directory, you list them. USA. Let's not remove USA. I want to use it for something. Yemi folder, remove that. And also Apple. So if I list, Yemi folder is gone, Apple is gone. Okay. Now let's remove directory USA now. The same way we've been removing directory, the command rmdir, then the name of the directories. We tried that with USA. It says failed. Why? Directory not empty. So what we are saying here is that you cannot remove a directory that is not empty by the regular remove rmdir command. Okay. So before you can delete an empty directory, two things. You first go and delete what is inside the directory. So let's cd into USA. cd USA. There is Canada. Okay. So we first remove Canada, then we go back and remove USA. But what if there are files inside Canada as well? That means we also cd into Canada, remove those files and directories. What if those directories and files, directories also have other directories? You see the onion effect now. You open a layer, you find another one, open it for another one. So to remove all of that stress, let's go back by one step. To remove all of that stress, how to delete a directory, a folder that is not empty. You are sure you want to delete that folder because it's not empty. The command is rm. You will not use dir now. Flag r. This r means recursive. Am I getting that correctly? If you check the meaning of recursive in English, it probably means everything that is associated to a thing. Let's check that out. Relating to or involving. Okay. Relating to or involving. It means all that is connected to something. All right. That's recursive. These are here. So remove recursively, and you might want to force it in case it is proving stubborn. So you use rm flag rf, the name of the folder. So let USA folder have 1001 folders and subfolders and subfolders inside it. This command rm with flag recursive and forceful USA, we delete it. And that's it. USA folder is gone. So now we've seen how to create a folder, We've seen how to create multiple folders. We've seen how to remove a folder when it is empty. And we've seen how to remove a folder when it is not empty. Any question now, please? Do you have any question before we move on? Hello, class. Any question? Can we continue?
No
Yes.
questions from me. Yes, we can continue.
All right. So let's move on. So we've seen how to create folders. We should go see how to create files. But before we move on, if I say MAN get end, that MAN means manual. Okay, let me quit. Can I clear this guy? Okay, clear. Now, MAN get end means show me how to use or details about the command getEnt. That means the manual for the getEnt command. That's it. Okay. The same way you can see the MAN for RM. Manual for what? Remove files. This manual page documents the GNU version of RM. RM removes each specified file. By default, it does not remove directories. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Now look at flag F, pause. Ignore non-existent files and arguments and do not prompt. That means what? Flag F. Look at the flag R, recursive. Remove directories and their contents recursively. Okay. Flag D, remove empty directories. Okay. That's what I needed to come and show us here. Let's now I want to show you how to create files. We've seen how to create folders. Now there are three ways you can create files in Linux. The first one is touch. Hold on, let me see. Sorry, hello. Okay. RMDIR watermelon, get it out. Okay. Yeah. Touch means create an empty file for me. Touch followed by the name of the file. Let's create a file for sales department. And if I list, you see that the color of sales is different from the color of orange. Blue is always for directory, okay, and white is always for file. And because I listed in details, you will see that before the permissions that the one in blue, which is orange, have, you will see D. So this D here means this guy here is a folder, is a directory, okay? Why no D here means this guy here is a regular file, okay? So this is how to create. This is one of the first way to create file. Touch command. You can also create multiple files. Touch. Let's create for HR. If it's just a simple text file, you can put extension like hr.txt. Okay. Let's also create other kind of files. If it is a bash script, let's call it format. dot sh. We get into bash scripting. Okay, we're just creating file. Now these are empty files. If it is a zipped file, okay, or an archived file, let's call it history. I'm just picking him arbitrarily. Dot tar. The star. Okay, my session times out. My session times out. Sorry. Just confirm if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear.
All
Yes,
right.
we can.
So we've seen how to, let's continue how to create empty files. Touch hr.txt, meaning it's a simple text file, or let's say code.sh, meaning this is a bash script file. It could also be a TAD file, let's say document.tar. So if I list, these are all files. hr.txt. When we get to tar, we talk about .tar, code.sh. All right. So that's the first way to create empty files. All right. Now, another way of creating file is using echo. Now, these are empty files. Sales, hr.text, code.sh. If I want to write into sales now, okay, technically I want to print into sales. I'll say echo, I'll string what I want to print. List of sales for August 2024, followed by the operation operand that is greater than, then the name of the file I want to print into sales. So this command says print this content into sales, and that's echo. Echo command means print. That's it. Okay. So if I want to view the content of sales now, I will say cat sales, and it showed me what is inside sales, cat sales. Another way to view the content of sales is to say more followed by the name sales, showed me the content of sales. Okay. If I go to do this, pay attention, sales 1, 2, 3. Sales 1, 2, 3. Meaning that I think it has timed out again. Okay, I think I need to change ISP at this point. All right. Sales 123. Print sales 123 into sales. All right. And I tap enter. And let's cut the content of sales 123. Sorry, of sales. Did anybody notice what's happening here? Anybody seen anything? Any difference?
The content of the file has changed.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we echoed this, we printed this into sales. When we printed another thing into the same, that means what we printed here as overwritten what was inside sales before. So to ensure, no, not to ensure. If you do not want to overwrite what is inside a file, then this operand here, this operation command should be double. So if I say echo sales record for year 2024, then I use the double of this operation, double greater than signs. So this command we print into sales without overwriting the content. It will only add to what is there. So now if I cut sales, do you now say that it did not overwrite the content, rather it added to the content? Okay, so except if your intention is to overwrite what is inside a file, I advise that when you want to use echo to print into a file, always use the greater than, double greater than sign. This operand, always use the top, and there's no space in between. Okay, are we together? Can we move on? Hi everyone, can we move on?
Yes, we can.
All right,
Yes, we can.
thank you. Thank you. So now can I list? I said we can also use echo to create files, but so far we've only used it to write or print into a file. If a file does not exist in the current directory where you are, I can use echo to create that file and print into that file. So if I say echo, we are live in Linux class, and if I say do that into, give me the name of a file, let's say marketing, because marketing does not exist in this current directory, and I say echo we are live in Linux class, it's going to create the file marketing and print this guy inside it. Okay, so if I list now, I now have marketing, and if I cut or if I use more, that's it. That's the second way of creating a file. The third way is using your file editors. Okay, but I've been doing something and quickly need to show you. If I want to fill marketing, the command is I either use cat or I use more. These two commands will view the content of a file for me. Okay, so if I say cat and I want to view marketing, what do I do? Cat and the name of the file, marketing. But Linux makes your work easier such that if I type MA, the first two or the first three characters of the word, I can press tab on my keyboard and it will autocomplete for me. Do you see that? Okay. I can do that for document as well, DOC, and I press tab. You see it autocomplete. As long as that thing has once been registered on your Linux session, you can autocomplete it. Okay. Let's do the same for code. CO. Do you see that? Now, is there any word here that starts with the same word? Okay. So we've seen how to use touch to create an empty file. We've seen how to use echo to print into an empty file and to print into a non-empty file. Okay. And we've also seen how to use echo to create a new file and print into it. The next command will be how to use a file editor. Okay. Now, it is easier to print into a file using echo because what I want to do is not so much. But let's say I want to type many things, okay? And I will be needing, I'll need to use new lines. Okay, I'll need to go to new lines. Then I can use echo. In that situation, I'll use a file editor. Let's say I want to code inside this code.sh now, okay? I use a file. There are three file editors, three known file editors. There is VI, there is VIM, and there is Nano. Okay, VIM, Nano. Let's start with VI. So if I run VI code.sh, I'm now editing the file code.sh. You will notice that this interface has changed. I can now begin to code. Okay, so if I want to code in HTML, I can say, so before I begin to type, when you edit with VI or VIM, you first must tap I. The letter I means insert. So if I type I now, pay attention, you will see that it now shows insert here, meaning I can now begin to type. When I'm done typing, I press escape. Escape is usually the first key on your keyboard from the left-hand side, top left-hand side. Press escape. It takes you out of the insert mode. All right, so I to insert, so you can begin to type all you need to type. When you're done typing, you press ESC to escape. You can now choose to save and exit or exit without saving. So let's do something meaningful. Let's say we want to code in HTML. Okay. Then I'll say title GTT24. Then I'll close it. Sorry, I'll close it. Title. And you're coding, you must close everything you opened. So once I'm done, now, if I want to save what I've just put here, the first thing is I get out of the insert mode by pressing escape, ESC. Okay, I'm out of the insert mode. Then I type colon. Okay, colon followed by write, all in lowercase. W means write it, meaning save it. Then Q means quit the editor, and bang means execute. Column WQ bang, write, quit, execute, write, quit, bang. Okay. You go to escape mode first, then use column. Write means save, Q means quit, and bang means execute. And I'm back here. So now, if I say cat code now, see everything we put inside code is here. That's how to use VI. I can also use VIM. You see, it's the same interface. VIM means modified version of VI. It does other deeper things than VI. So to start typing here, what do I press first? I want to start typing here. What do I press first?
I.
Thank you. I means to insert. Okay. Then I can now begin to type. So we added title. Let's add okay, let's add heading this time around. Let's say welcome to GTT page. And let's close it. Okay. And then let's also add the first paragraph. If you can see this, you are on journey to tech landing page. Okay, this is an editor, that's why it's showing us that. Although I can leave it that way. But when it happen, then I close the paragraph. Good. So if I'm done editing, I escape the insert mode. That's it. This time I do not intend to save. Maybe I am editing a system file and I've done something I really do not understand, or I'm confused and I don't want to save what I've done so I don't mess with the file. You say column. You are not saving this time, so you will not use WU. You will just say column quit bang. That means to not save. Quit and then execute. That's it. So again, if I cut code.sh, you see that all those things I typed are not there because I did not save. That's how to use VI, VIM. You can do other things, but at this basic level, that's how to use it as editors. I'll be sharing with us cheat sheets which you can practice on your own, but you need this requisite to be able to run them. All right. The other editor is Nano. Nano code.sh. So you will see that Nano interface is different from VI and VIM. With Nano, you would not need to type I to begin insert. Once it takes you to Nano editor, you can start editing and typing straight ahead. Okay. So here I can say paragraph 1. Welcome to GTT 2024. And then I close it. P1. Okay. Now, once you're done with what you want to do here, because you didn't insert, you can also escape. All right. But what is similar to if you want to save here, you will see exit, Control X. Do you see this? Control X, exit. So Control X. Then it's going to ask you, save, modify the buffer. Y means yes. N means no. Control C means cancel. Maybe return me back to the editor. Okay. Now it tells you answering no will discard changes, meaning if I type N, it's not going to save what I've done. But I want to save, so I'm going to use Y. Okay. The next thing is asking me is file name to write to. I want to save into the same code.sh. So it's showing you code.sh here. I just tap enter. And that's it. So if I run cat code.sh, look at what we just added. So my job is to show you the different editors. Over time, you are going to pick the one you're comfortable with to use. All right. Now, just the way we used Echo to print into an existing file and also to create an entirely new file, you can also use any of the editors to do that, as long as we save what we have done. So I can say BI finance dot text. Okay, it's a new file. It's telling me here's a new file. I press I to insert, and I say the financial statement of 2023. When I'm done, I escape from the insert mode by pressing escape. Then I want to save it, column right with bank, and tap enter. Now, if I list, there is now a file called finance. Okay, so you've seen how to create files using Torch, Echo, and any of the file editors. I think it's proper that we stop here. We've learned a lot today. I told us about the shell prompt, told us about navigation, told us about some commands. When we come to class next week, Monday, we'll also learn more commands, and we also begin to look at other services in Linux, right? So my encouragement will be that you practice extensively, practice repeatedly. The commands, you will not need to cram them. The more you use the commands, they become part of you. Okay. By now, commands like clear, you already know, is to clear your screen. Okay. By now, you know print working directories to show you the path to your current directory. So when you practice, when you use this command often, they will stick. Okay. And don't forget our agreement is that when you're done practicing, return to your AWS console, and you as beginners terminate your servers. Okay, I already explained why you should choose to terminate rather than stop. Okay, so I'm just going to terminate my server. And once server is terminated, you no longer be able to access it from your SSH client because the server is no longer there. There's nothing you are SSHing into. Okay. Just save yourself the stress, close the sessions as well. Will there be any questions, please? Any question, everyone? Okay, so by now, you will know that we are going higher already. And that's how it's going to be. The complex systems you see, they are built a step at a time from the very basics. And that's how it is with learning anything. Especially if you're learning for the first time, you learn from the very basics. Okay. And by the time you are doing deeper Linux things, the knowledge of the basics is what helps you to move into deeper and complex things. So this is my advice. Do not despise this beginning. Practice and practice. It looks like we've done so much, but we've done nothing. We've not even scratched where we are going to. However, we'll go a step at a time in this manner. Right? So if there will not be any question, it's a good day from me. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Bye, everyone. If you have any question as you are trying the commands, you can put it on the WhatsApp group and I will address it. Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Good
everybody.
night.